This is How Do I Do This? The show for anyone asking, is it just me or is this a lot? Some people talk about living with uncertainty like it's a mindset exercise, but for my guest today, it's her everyday life. She lives with a genetic disorder that has no cure. She witnessed her father pass away from the same genetic disorder, and yet she still has built a multi-million-dollar business and is a best-selling author. I mean, what the hell else are the rest of us doing, right? And she'll tell you, it's not because she's fearless. It's because she shows up every day in a small way. Colleen Nichols is the founder of a thriving online community and the best-selling author of Don't Make It Weird, an entrepreneur's guide to being human on the internet. She teaches entrepreneurs how to sell better and how to be themselves on the internet by naturally attracting those who are most like them. Today, we're talking about grief at work, how to redefine success when grief looms large, the practical tools that Colleen learns to keep moving forward every day, because none of this happened by mistake. It was all very intentional. So we have things we can learn from her, and how mindset and purpose can become your greatest asset. Colleen, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so excited. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. And I know you know that we have hot tea around my grandmother's kitchen table. And even though you can't be here in person, what are you sipping on this morning?
I have a Dunkin' latte.
Hashtag not sponsored.
It's decaf, I know, but that's what I have.
That's good. That's awesome. Well, I actually have coffee in my teacup this morning too, because it's early and we're getting things done. So before we talk about resilience, I want to just start at the beginning, because I knew some of your story, but until I said, hey, do you want to do this crazy idea with me? I don't really know all of it. Tell people about what myotonic muscular dystrophy is and take us back to when you found out.
Yeah. So, okay, myotonic muscular dystrophy, and I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to give you like the doctor definition of it, but
you don't want that anyways.
I can't give it to you. So if there's any, doctors listening to this, please forgive me. But muscular dystrophy, there's several different kinds. A lot of people who have heard of it have heard of Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. That's like if you see like children who have it, they typically have Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Myotonic muscular dystrophy is a genetic disorder on the 19th chromosome where you lose your muscles over time. Myotonic muscular dystrophy typically affects people in their 40s or 50s. And there is no treatment, there's no cure. And I always knew that my dad had it because his mom did. And I didn't find out when my mom had my brother and I in 87 and 89, there was no, what I was able to do. But we found out because I met my husband my first weekend in college, and we had been dating for about a year. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy I'm going to get married to. But there was this looming, feeling of, if I have muscular dystrophy, I can't have children in a natural way because the risk is too high. And when a child gets muscular dystrophy from their mother, it's typically much worse. So I was not going to have children, and I wanted him to be able to have an out. I was like, we're having a good time. We love each other. We're 19 and, 21. But if we break it off, we can still have our own, lives.
So so let me just stop you. You were in love with him. You wanted to marry him.
Yes.
But you did like the very brave and kind thing and was like, we can just be friends. Like, go live your best life.
Yeah. Because I knew he wanted kids.
Human.
No, I'm not. I would never want somebody to, I don't know. I was just like, I knew he wanted kids and I did too, but it wasn't, for me, it was just a resolve of, if I have it, I'm not going to. And, so I asked my parents if I could get a DNA test, and I did it through Georgetown University in DC. And it's just a DNA test, and came back that I do. And he was like, well, I'm not going anywhere. And so that's how I found out, because I wanted to have him have his own life if I didn't want to screw it up.
And y'all have children.
Yeah.
Through
We do have children.
Science.
We have three healthy, wonderful, beautiful boys through science. And it's such a blessing, and they're my greatest gift in the world. I just can't, I just feel so fortunate, to have been able to. Science is incredible. And that could be a whole episode just on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So in your 20s, and I'm thinking about my 20s in college because we're around the same age.
Yeah.
When you found out, what did that feel like? And did that start to shape how you thought about your legacy and fate? Or were you just, and also in comparison to like, where was your dad and his journey, and how did that affect you?
Oh, it was probably, and I can't tell you if I've ever really had this conversation with anybody other than like my parents and Corey, but like it was one of the worst days of my entire life. I went to Georgetown to get the test, and obviously it's not a COVID test. They don't you have to wait. So I was back at school. And I remember the genetic counselor calling me and saying, can you come back to Georgetown for us to discuss your results? And I was like, are we allowed to curse here?
Yeah.
We are, right? Yeah. I was like, I can make up shooty pooty. I was like, fuck. Like, they're not telling you to come back to talk about something. And I just remember falling to the floor and calling my mom, and just a guttural cry of like, I can't believe it. And my dad at this point he wasn't able to work anymore. He was still mobile and things like that. Didn't need full-time care yet or anything like that, but he wasn't well. And it was just this, I can't explain adequately knowing like what you've seen your whole life of a sick parent, and then knowing like, oh my God, I have the same thing. Like it's a terrible, terrible feeling. I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was awful.
That's grief too, right? Not only like with seeing that with your dad, which is so hard and heavy, and my mom was not in the best health, not like that, but her last few years, that was hard. But then saying, okay, well, now me, and what does that look like?
Yeah, it was terrible. And I remember taking a couple days and just feeling like my life is over. This is terrible. Just so heavy. And then I went home, to talk went back to Georgetown, and Corey went, my husband, and he went, and so did my parents. And I remember taking a walk afterwards, and I was like, okay, I just had this calmness come over me that I can only describe as something spiritual. And I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person, but it just felt like, okay, everyone's going to die. And the thing that is most likely to make it happen. Like, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. Obviously, things happen. It's not a certainty that this is what's going to do me in. So it's more of I quickly was able to say, okay, well, this is a blessing in disguise. I call it the best, worst thing, because I was given the opportunity to look at life through a lens that I feel like a lot of people don't. Like, they get to their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, and like, oh, it's over. And I just and I don't look at life like, oh, it's over. I'm like, oh, we have to live now. And I don't take much for granted. And I think that is, that's a blessing.
So it sounds like it helped you redefine success in a lot of ways.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I talk about this in the book. I talk about it in, trainings that I give, but like my definition of success is being able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want. And obviously money makes that a lot easier.
Mhm.
But my definition of a success isn't like a Hummer with gold rims and a mansion in Dubai. Like, cool. I wouldn't
It
would
sounds
not
like you've
take
been
it, but
listening to
like,
Taylor Swift's wish list. I'm just saying.
right? I did, and I have that driveway with a basketball hoop. I got 3 healthy kids playing in my driveway. Like, I just, I'm not. I don't want to sound like a Zen, like I've achieved enlightenment, because that's not the case at all. But I am able to often come back to the, okay, does this actually matter?
Right.
Type, and that's served me in so many ways in my life and in my career.
And one thing I think before we became internet friends and I started following you on Instagram was you just exude authenticity, and which is why you're really dadgum good at coaching and leading and telling people, hey, don't be a weirdo on the internet, just act like a human.
Yes.
If you look like shit one day and you have something to say, just turn the camera on and say it, which has been so freeing for me. And quite honestly, I credit you coming in my life before my life took a weird left, of saying, well, maybe I could show people what it looks like to grieve in real life, not retrospectively, but like this messy middle, this hard, because Colleen has done it and she does it every day. So I know that you have days that are hard, just like every person.
Oh God, yeah.
So how do you, and you do have a huge online community, how do you show up when you're like, you know what, I think I would like to have just 3 weeks of rotting here on my couch with some Netflix, and just keep the tubs of ice cream coming, and that's what I would like to do. So do you have, I don't want to say tricks, because I don't think they're not tricks for me, but do you have some tools that you go to on a regular basis to sort of pull yourself out when you're circling the drain?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the question that I always ask myself, because I have those days where I'm like, this is, and not just, oh, I'm grieving this diagnosis. Just like some days are really fucking hard and you just, want to lay on the couch. And some days I do that. My background is in mental health, like that. I know how important that is. And if being able to work for myself, there are times where I will say, is this a real need, or am I just like uncomfortable? Do I really need to hit pause for today, or can I, and that's something that only you can answer for yourself. And sometimes I really do need to hit pause and I can say, can I reschedule this meeting or whatever? That's off. That's like, I would say 5 or 10% of the time that I do that. But normally the question I ask myself is, okay, walk through it. Say you do take these 3 weeks and watch Netflix and lay on the couch and don't work and just eat ice cream. That's an option. What's the result? Like, what is going to be the outcome of that? Because when those 3 weeks are over, which the time will pass, are you going to be glad that you did that?
Or are you going to be,
and the answer is always no.
15 pounds heavier.
15 pounds heavier.
Or maybe my face is
going to
be
miss out on a lot of money.
Right.
Yes. And I'm just like, it's not worth it. That doesn't mean after my day is over that I don't sit on the couch and watch Netflix and eat ice cream, but I do what I need to do, because the outcome of that is worse than any sort of grief or just blahness that I'm feeling. And that's how I always get myself out of it, because I don't like the result of not moving, working, existing.
Yeah, I think what you said is so wise, and I have found myself doing that too. Just like that simple pause of saying, okay, Ryanne, well, you could blow off X, Y, and Z. I mean, for me in particular, like, let's say I don't feel like reviewing a 40-page agreement for work.
Yeah.
I could
Fair.
boss, if you're listening, like choose not to review that day. But
She would
guess
never.
what? I like my job. I like being an attorney, and that 40-page agreement's still going to be there tomorrow. And
It
so,
is.
right. And so while I might not get through all 40 pages today, I could do 5.
Mm-hmm.
I could do 10.
Mm-hmm. And chances are once you get started on the 5, you'll do 20 and you'll get half of it done. Like, you know, so I don't know. But I don't want to make it sound like, because if you are like fresh in grief, that's not the same.
It's not.
You know, like if somebody just passed or you just received devastating news, like take a minute. I'm removed from that freshness. So it is, it's more of a mental toughness that you have to develop over time. That's like, because you always have an option. You always have the option to blow it up.
Yeah.
Oh, like that is a choice. But just play it out. And do you like the end result? And the answer is always no.
I think too, like with me, especially you talk about fresh grief, because I'm so type A, I'm such high performers. I know from people who live in my DMs that they're very similar to us. I think when it was fresh, like giving myself permission and not letting that negative loop in my head that's like, Ryanne, what the hell are you doing? You should handle this better. Like turning that off was really hard. Do you ever have the negative committee in your head that decides to convene? And how do you silence those people?
They're always there. They don't ever take PTO. It's crazy. Like I remember my dad first died. I did take time a little bit, but at the same time, being that type A, like we were talking before we started this, like I like moving. I like being in motion. That helps me get through it. So I took, time to not do anything. Then when you have young kids and you're grieving, there's this part of you that it's just like, I don't have the luxury to just lay down and die right next to them. You know what I mean? So the committee's always there, and I'm in therapy. Like sometimes they win, sometimes the committee's really loud, and when they are, just turn the TV up.
Turn the TV up. I love that.
If you're gonna take your days to grieve, whether it be fresh grief or delayed or whatever, like the committee is going to be there if you're somebody like us who has this personality to always move and always achieve and always create.
Yeah. So I've heard you say that, you pause and you say, what would be the outcome? What are just some minimums that you could tell people listening that have really helped you? Because I think we've talked a lot about this, like, especially, and you were so kind to check in with me after my mom passed. And all of that is really a blur, but I do remember you said something very wise that stuck with me. And you were like, just take it day by day, assess it day by day, and figure out what your minimums are. So what do minimums look like for Colleen?
Now?
Yeah.
Minimums are showering.
Yeah.
It sounds silly. Showering is the minimum. Do I do it every day? No. But if we're we're going to meet our minimums, we're going to shower. We're going to put on SPF. Like these sound crazy, but like when I've showered and I have on sunscreen, I know that I can go out into the sun. I can go out into the world. I don't have to live in my cave.
So funny. Our mutual friend Emily Loftus said the same thing. She said, wash your damn hair.
Yeah. Wash your hair. Like I honestly feel like, and maybe it's like an energetic, you've had Elias on here. I work with Elias. I'm very woo woo, but like, something about like taking a shower. I'm like, you kind of rinse off the top layer of funk and grief emotionally. I don't know what the science is behind that, but I feel it. Those are 2 minimums. Making my bed, putting on shoes. Like, it has nothing to do with work. Those are Those are the bare minimums. You don't have to go on a walk, but put on shoes. And everyone who's like, I don't like shoes in my house. I get it. But if you're grieving, you can deal with the germs. Like, I'll take the shoe germs. Just put on the damn shoes. You're more productive. You just feel like, okay, I could go outside if I needed to. I could get in my car if I needed to. I don't know. Those are my silly little minimums.
Yeah, no, I love that. And also just, I mean, for me, sometimes it is literally walking out my front door and just looking up at the sun.
Yeah.
And if I have sunscreen on, I know I'm not like, I'm doing what I need to do so that, but I don't feel trapped in my house. And,
yes,
in other episodes I've talked about, my mom always said that water fixes everything. So whether that's bath, ocean, or tears. And,
that's so true.
He's
so wise.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of her favorite things to say is, especially when I was a snarly teenager, and he used to make me so mad, but she was like, I think you need to take a bath. And I was like, I need you to not tell me how to live my life, where I was like, emo and ragey and whatever. But now as a grown up, I'm like, yeah, like go take a bath.
Go take a bath. I tell my kids that, like my 10-year-old and my 8-year-old, like if they're being shitty, I'm like, why don't you just go take a shower?
Yeah.
Go take a shower.
Yeah.
Like, and 9 times out of 10, they come back down a happier person.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the reverse gremlin thing from the 80s.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but, and also tip for boy moms, because Colleen's a boy mom, just like I am. I don't know if your boys love this, but I keep a jar of bath bombs. And you would think like bath bombs are just like you would mainly be associated with females, but my son loves himself a bath bomb. He calls it having his spa time. I'm like, yes, boo, go have your spa time.
I tell you what, like I've learned so much as having 3 boys that there are so many things that are not girly unless you assign it to be girly. Because like they love a bath bomb. They love like pretend spot. Like they're like, oh, are you going to give me like a shoulder massage, or can you put cucumbers on my eyes, or can you do? And I'm like, oh yes, welcome to mommy spa. Like, I mean, they like to relax too.
Yeah.
Boys like to relax.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're a boy mom, like ramp up the spa experience. And I think it's so much just about connection too with us. That they feel nurtured, they feel loved, and they see that like we want all the lotions and potions, and so
it's so fun.
Well, yeah, and what's wrong with raising a male who wants to smell good? I say nothing. I
say nothing.
Yeah. So
anyway, but yes, again, a whole other episode could be on how to not raise smelly boys, but yeah.
So let's talk about your online community and your book, and where you really help people amalgamate their professional and personal self so that they can coexist. And I think, you tell me if I'm wrong about this, I think it's probably why you at least don't ever appear to be burned out. Do you think it's easier when you are just living more authentically, or even if you're not going through grief, it's just, we all have so many hats we're wearing. And how do you think that authenticity helps with burnout, or does it?
Yeah. One of the things I'm talking about a lot recently online is this concept of like brand dissonance. And that's kind of the foundation of what I teach people, is that there's a huge gap for people who are online. The gap is between who they are in real life and how they feel like they need to show up online. And they're not, and the bigger the gap, the more exhausting it is to create and show up. And I don't have a gap. I have no gap. What you see online, what you're hearing in this conversation right now, is what you would get in my house, like, and who I am. So I don't ever feel like I have to go perform for the internet. And I know, because I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs at this point, they do feel that. They feel like, oh, I can't say what I'm really thinking, or if I'm my weird self, or like if I have an opinion on this and I have to say the right words and do the right, and it's exhausting. Like, no shit, you're burning out. Like, no shit, you don't want to do this. Like, that's not fun or enjoyable in any sense of the word. So I do think that having that level of just authenticity, or be it self-acceptance or whatever it is, helps a lot in regards to not burning out.
Yeah. I mean, I think, maybe not weird is not the right word, but in a way, talking about my grief through a podcast, which a lot of people gave me the side eye and was like, well, that's a strange way to grieve. I mean, they're still giving me the side eye, but for me, it's let me have some amazing conversations with my colleagues. It's allowed me to lean into my dark humor a little bit more, especially when I'm having what I call grief brain, where you're mid sentence and all of a sudden it's like somebody turned off the TV and you're like, and I have no words. I could be explaining copyright law, which I know like the back of my hand. And the TV will all of a sudden go blank. And now I have because I am who I am, I'm doing this podcast. And even without the podcast, I would probably still be very honest because that's who I am. But I feel very free to say, time out, I'm having a grief brain moment. Can somebody please remind me where I was? Or is it perimenopause? Or is it me just being a very busy mom? Like, and just owning the fact that sometimes as women, men too, like we just have glitchy brains for whatever reason.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, name it to tame it. Like, that's how you get through. Like, if you are experiencing grief and trying to pretend that you're not is awful. Or I have an anxiety disorder. Like, having to pretend that I'm not experiencing an insane level of anxiety when I really am makes it even worse. So if I say, the story that I'm telling myself right now is that if I have to go downtown in Parallel Park, like I'm gonna, like whatever, like something stupid.
That makes me want to vomit just hearing that.
I know, same. I hate it. Like, my best friend is here right now and she knows, don't invite me if I have to Parallel Park. But when you can name it to tame it, like it goes away a little bit, and it gives, like, nobody can, air quotes, like make fun of you or think anything because you've already said it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm having a grief moment. Hold on, my brain is glitchy. You've acknowledged it, so they can't go behind and be like, oh, did you see her in that meeting? Like, why was she not remembering copyright law? Like, she told you.
Yeah.
She's having a grief moment.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a dick and be like, oh,
Yeah. And if you are, well, then that says more about you than it does about.
That's a you problem. We can't fix that here.
Yeah. I mean, it's that whole idea with Hamilton, like, who tells your story? Well, I tell my story. If I own it and I'm my authentic self and I tell my story, then the rest of you be damned.
Oh, don't get me started on Hamilton, Ryanne.
I know. We could have like a whole thing.
Oh, God.
We could have a whole thing. All right, Colleen. So somebody is listening to us today and they're like, Ryanne, Colleen, that sounds really great. And to be clear, like, we are both very open about the fact we are not gurus. We are not Mel Robbins with a 5-step process. We are not Sheryl Sandberg, and I'm not going to tell you to lean in. But if they're listening and they're like, I really think, leaning in, I hate the word, but what a phrase, but let's say embracing my career. Embracing my career a little more might help me move forward in this grief space, in this loss, in this big change, whether it's divorce, even being a new mom. What is something you would tell them that they could do on a very consistent basis to help them show up, whether that's online or if they go into a traditional office and they're looking to just grow their career?
Oh, gosh. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is consistency, right? Like, whether it is you're showing up online or you're going into an office, like, obviously I feel like an office job, it's a little easier to be like, I have to show up every day or I'm going to get fired. When you're somebody like me who works online, I won't necessarily get fired if I don't show up every day. I just won't make money. So deciding like your minimums, right? That you're going to do consistently. So is it we're going to get showered. We're going to put on SPF. We're going to step outside and say, well, let's go in on, like, it doesn't matter, but find your minimums. And I think find somebody, be it again, like a therapist, an online space, a friend, who, at least one person that you can say, like, I'm having a hard time. And I think for me, being able to do that on the internet is helpful because I've built a space where I am honest. And if I'm having a hard time, like, I can say that. But creating your space, even if it's just with one other person, to say, man, I'm having a hard time, I think is really important to help you move forward.
Yeah, I agree. And it's one reason when this idea for a podcast first landed in my brain, I was like, what if there was a corresponding Instagram page where people could just come here, get some resources, convene with each other, and feel like they, like, literally film it at my grandmother's kitchen table, like, have a seat at the table. And so they're here. All of this has been so good, and we're gonna do the fabulous 5, but I think it's really important for people to hear that you didn't choose the diagnosis, you didn't choose the grief, but you choose your life every day, and you chose your children. And before we jump into the fabulous 5 and close this out, I do think it's important for people to hear, to the degree you want to explain it, how your children came to be, because there's somebody who might want to research that more and want that information for themselves.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to talk about this, because so anyway, it's called PGD, which is pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. So you go through like a typical IVF process, but they make the embryos, and then on, day 8 or whatever, they biopsy the embryos, and they are able to do DNA test on those embryos. So whether it's, muscular dystrophy or cystic fibrosis or anything that is a genetic, you have a genetic, you're a carrier for something, you can look into that. It's the only reason, like, when I found out about PGD, it was like a lighthouse. It was the best. And if one person is listening to this and they are like, I didn't know, and they look into it, I'll feel like so grateful. But because it's one of those things that people I don't think know a lot about. And it gave me 3 healthy children. So
yeah. Well, and what's so beautiful, and from a distance, I admire your and Corey's relationship, is that, and this could be a whole other podcast episode too, but the fact that y'all had those really hard conversations, and you made the choice and choose every day to love each other through it. And thankfully y'all found a way to, have children in a healthy, safe way. And, thank God for science. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank God for science. And it's over. Like, muscular dystrophy won't exist anymore in my family after this. So it ends here. And I love that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. So before we go, I always ask my guests 5 questions. And you can be, first thing that comes to your mind, lightning round. You can be serious. You can swear. You can be silly, whatever. So what's a life lesson that your mom, and I know your grandma is awesome, has taught you that just, like, you just turn to on a regular basis?
Oh gosh. Don't want somebody who doesn't want you. They have always said that. So, like, don't sit, and again, that can apply to anything, but I use that all the time.
Okay. So in dark moments when life has gotten real loud, besides screaming Hamilton lyrics in the car and caffeine, what is something that brings you comfort?
Oh my goodness. Something that brings me comfort. The Beatles. So my dad was a very, like, that. I was raised Catholic. My parents were married, but I was raised Catholic because my mom is a devout Catholic. And my dad his only religion was the Beatles. The Beatles always played in our house all the time. And if I'm going through a hard time or feeling sad, I play the Beatles because I feel like it's like sitting with my dad.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Thanks.
It's so weird that you mentioned that because of some work I'm doing to create another episode, and I wrote about the Beatles last night. So it's like nothing is by chance.
No.
So what's the most sacred thing in your bedroom or in your house right now that is just like, God forbid something's going to happen and you're like, I'm taking this with me, besides Barb, Corey, and the kids?
Oh gosh. I have this tub right behind me that has all of the journals and notebooks that I've written in since about age 8, and it's documented. I've documented my entire life. I would grab that.
That's weird because I do too, and I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
That's so cool.
That's so cool. I love it.
That is really cool. Okay, so if you could ask God, the universe, whoever the great being is in the sky, one question and get an answer, what do you want to know today?
Oh God. Oh gosh. Gosh, Ryanne, that's a really big question.
It is.
Is it all going to be okay? Is the first thing that comes to mind. Because right now in the world, no matter what you believe or what you watch, like it feels very heavy and not okay at the moment. And I just deeply wonder, like, is it going to be okay again in my lifetime? That's what I want to know the answer to.
Yeah. Okay. Your ride or die phrase, swear word, doesn't have to be a swear word, but when like you're like really done, like it's just been a day and you're like, I'm done.
It's always going to be fuck. It's always going to be, I have a jar filled with fucks on my desk. I have earrings.
Show that again.
Oh yeah. It's fucks to give. It is, I don't have this many fucks left to give, honestly, but it does its job. But I have earrings that say fuck. It's always going to be my word. Like, geez, fuck. Like, God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It could be a good fuck. It could be a bad fuck. It's just so versatile, you know?
It is.
That's why I love it.
It really is. It really is. Well, thank you so much.
I'm
so glad that you were here, that you honestly shared as your authentic self, which you always do. And you're proof that grief doesn't have to steal your greatness, that it can reveal your grit. And you are a gritty woman. And I love that about you. And I'm so glad that you are in my life. So thank you.
I just adore you. I appreciate you. And thank you for even thinking of bringing me on here. That's such an honor.
Yeah. So we'll link in the show notes where everybody can find you. How can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah. Come hang out on Instagram. My professional account is No Shame Sales Game. My personal account is probably not for everyone. Probably cut that out. So you can come hang out with me on Instagram at No Shame Sales Game. And that's where I hang out.
Yeah. And you can buy our book, Don't Make It Weird.
And you can buy my book, Don't Make It Weird.
On
Amazon.
It's really good about how, even if you're not on the online digital space, just how to embrace being, as I say, my own little weirdo self, which for me looks like Kermit the Frog, Wicked, Taylor Swift, Hamilton, and like disco balls. So you can figure out what your thing is.
Are you so excited for Wicked for Good to come out?
I'm so excited. I mean, my son and I, we warned our husband, like, we're going to be pretty insufferable between the new Taylor Swift and Wicked. Like,
it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, we're just gonna be insufferable. Thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for today. You can grieve for who you were before it all changed and still become someone new. Grief and growth sit at the table, passing notes when we're not looking. This tea, this time, this space is part of your healing, and it's part of mine too. You're not broken, you're just brewing. And besties, we do not gatekeep around here. So if you heard something today that filled your emotional cup, share it with a friend. Follow, subscribe, and come back next week. Your seat at the table will be waiting. Follow along on Instagram at How Do I Do This Pod and on YouTube at How Do I Do This Pod. DM me on Instagram and tell me what kind of grief you're holding right now. Seriously, I'll read every one and will probably be the person to respond back. Tell me what you have tried that you think might help me. I'm open to trying anything that's not illegal. Your story might find its way into one of our future episodes.